Evening, folks. How's it going? Let's see if anybody's on here. And hello. Thank you for being here. I'm just psyched that this is the eighth one of these. This is the fifth one in 2023 that we're doing out of 8. So we're going to look at Tony Rice's solo for How Mountain Girls Can Love, a great bluegrass classic. I just played it a couple times, and as promised, we are going to go slowly because what I've found with this particular solo is that the phrasing is very twisty and difficult to kind of take in and be able to repeat. So of course I know it's not going to be instant, but me helping you, my helping you walk through it should hopefully be a benefit. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. It's been a wonky day in Nashville. We had some crazy storms. All the after-school sports got canceled, and we're kind of headed into a holiday weekend here. So hope everybody's doing well. So let's get to it. This solo, I'm going to play it even slower for y'all now. And welcome to those just joining us. How Mountain Girls Can Love.
Oh, how mountain girls can love.
So, my first question for y'all is, do you hear anything familiar if you've been here the past few weeks? You probably do. The last couple licks, that lick was in the first 2 solos we did, Teardrops in My Eyes and Thinking About You, and then this whole thing up here. And then a little different on the ending because he's going to lead us to the 4 chord, so he's not going to do the G run there. So that much, if you've been working on this stuff, you already have, which is awesome. So this solo is based around the verse form of How Mountain Girls Can Love, which is just, if you have your guitar out, I know some people said they were going to bring their banjo, we're just going to play a G chord and a D chord, so a 1 chord and a 5 chord for the verse. And this workshop is primarily about the Tony Rice solo of this song. We're not really talking about the melody, or because his solo is not necessarily melody based; it's his own melody. And we're not talking about the actual song much. But here's the verse form that we're working on: the G chord, da, 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 to the D chord. Back to the G. Back to the D. And then the chorus form is this. I'll just play through it. C to G to D. Back to G. C. G. Back to the D. Back to the D. So when we go through the solo, we'll try to kind of hear where some of the chords are changing. So we're not going to get to do some of those pretty 4 licks today because there's no 4 in that verse form. So he starts his solo, and I like this for starting. It's very definitive. He hammers on from the F to the G, the dominant 7 to the 1. So why the flat 7? Tony often uses the minor pentatonic or kind of that bluesy sound. And that's the flat 7 is in the minor pentatonic, not the major 7. So we're going to hammer from first finger on F, and third finger hammers onto G. So counting that in, that's the trickiest part. How mountain girls can 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so you have to wait a little bit. How mountain girls can 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, then we grab that and we hang on to it for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Sorry. So that's going to be our first little lick there. Let's do it nice and slow along with Tony. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 1, 4, 1. Now, do you see how the metronome of my right hand kind of helps me keep count of how many beats it would be until I get to start the lick? And when I start the lick, and by the way, we're going to be doing down ups, which most flat pickers use for the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. So on that next 1 and, we're going to do an upstroke on the blue note, the flat 5, the D flat / C sharp, right here. And when I go through this, I love pointing out patterns and theory, etc. So make sure when you have time, you practice your G minor pentatonic blues scale. 1, flat 3, 4, flat 5 or sharp 4, that's the blue note. And then the 5, which is a D, flat 7, which is an F, 1. Some of you would recognize it from this. So it's key when we practice that we're saying the numbers and internalizing the scale degrees of what is in that scale. So when we're listening to Tony, we're like, oh yeah, there's a minor pentatonic passage. My fingers know what to do. I've been working on that. I've been noodling around on it, and I kind of know where to find that. So I'm kind of trying to help you do that today in a really nice, slow way. 2, 3, 4, 1, and 4, 1, and. So on the end of 1, we do a nice upstroke on that D flat, second string, second fret, second finger. Up, pull off to the C, first fret, second string, and I do a ghost down. So because I've got to keep my right hand metronome moving, right? Especially on this fast stuff. You can't lose it. You can't just approximate it and keep your hand still and hope you come in on the right beat. 3, 4, 1, and 2. So I did a ghost down on my 2 down beat. Okay, so I'm going to do an upstroke on my flat 3, my B flat, my third string, third fret. I do an upstroke, and again I do a slide. And I do a ghost down with my right hand as I slide up that half step there to the major third, the B natural, the fourth string, third string, fourth fret. 3, 4, 1. That's how far we are now. So we started with that minor pentatonic bluesy sound, and then of course, like most bluegrass, we're going to mix and match with some major. And here's our major third he's sliding up to. So when my students love practicing scales, and I love reminding them that everything's going to end up being a mishmash in the end, a soup, but it's nice to know, what the scales are, and then we can kind of mishmash them up. If you're an ear learner and have no interest in the scales and all that's fine too. I think there's plenty of people like that, but there's also a lot of people who kind of want to grasp what's going on kind of a little bit more technically and be able to kind of name it and talk about it. So whichever way, it's cool. It's just a fun solo to play. So starting from the top, let's get to that major third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. Now I'm going to do an upstroke on my open G for the next move. Okay, so actually let's play along with Tony just to remind ourselves of this passage, and we'll sing it. Did I miss a note here? So this is typical. There's the, sorry about that. We are going to do that slide, but after we hit the C, the B flat to C again. So I have an upstroke on my B flat, and then a down again on my C with a pick, and then my upstroke on the B flat, slide up to the B natural with a ghost down, and then an up on the G natural. And then we have the, okay, so let me walk through that one more time. We're going to do it very, very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. Okay, so hammer on from that 7 to the 1. Upstroke on the blue note there, 2nd fret, 2nd string, 2nd finger, ghost down, pull off to the C, 1st fret, 2nd string, and we'll do a ghost down, like I said, with your right hand, and then we'll do an up on the B flat, 3rd string, 3rd fret, and then a down on the C, 1st fret, 2nd string. Next up, now our slide from the B flat to the B natural, the flat 3 to the B, 3 to the major 3rd, and we're going to do an upstroke on the 3rd string, 3rd fret, and a ghost down with our right hand as we slide, half step up, and then an up on the G natural, the open G, and then a nice downstroke on our flat 7, which is our F, which is our 4th string, 3rd fret, pull off, and then upstroke on the G. Oh, let's confirm that's a down or versus an up. Yeah, just a down. Wow. So let's do that, this last little bit here. 3rd string, 4th fret, down with our right hand, pull off, and then a down with our right hand on the open G. 2, 3, 4, 1. Down, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. Let's kind of loop that really slowly a few times together. 2, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1, and how'd that feel? Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. So that's a nice little intro lick. It's just kind of mishmashing together the minor pentatonic with the blue note and a major 3rd. So that's just typical, nice bluegrass entry. And it's easy for Tony. He does it a lot, so he's just confident coming in. And then we're going to do a Tony idiom. This is one of his favorite licks. Hey Shelton, how's it going? Actually, yeah, it'd be great to hear from anybody out there. I'd like to know that you can see and hear me okay. Sometimes I worry that like the glare gets on the fretboard and you can't see what I'm doing, so any feedback helps. Thank you for that. So let's discuss this next idiom, because you're going to see it. If you listen to Tony Rice, you're going to hear it in 80% of his solos, possibly. Hi, Kenny. Thank you. It's this. Okay. So what I've noticed, Tony loves this lick. I always talk about him as though he's present. I feel like he still is. For a lot of us, he still is present. So I do speak of him in the present tense. Sorry about that. He uses it over the 1 chord quite often, and he also uses it over the 5 chord. That's just what I've noticed in all these years of playing his solos. So what it is kind of outlining 5, we're going to slide up to a 5, I'll do a quick outline, and then go to a flat 7, and then back to a 5 with an open, and then flat 3 to 3, B flat to B natural, back to the 1. So that's going to be easy for people who've done a bunch of Tony Rice solos. It's like, oh, that thing. And this is typical. Once you get into learning 10 or more or whatever, a lot of the stuff gets reused, and then you're able to quickly pick these up. But for those who haven't played this lick before and or need a refresher, what we're going to do is slide up with our third finger from the C note, the 3rd fret, 5th string, and we're going to do a ghost down as we slide 2 frets up to the 5th fret with our 3rd finger to the D. Okay, so slide up, ghost down, and then we do a nice up on that flat 7, the F natural, the 4th string, 3rd fret, and then we're going to play an up. And I missed that little ghost down to tell you you have to wait through a beat, and before you get to hit that open D. You're going to do a ghost down as you're waiting to play it. See how I'm doing that? Up, ghost down, up. Does that make sense? That's why this down up stuff is so important to get where it's second nature, because then everything's going to feel in that groove of just the hands kind of rolling along in time. That's where we are. And then we're going to slide with our first finger from the B flat to B natural, the flat 3 to 3. The 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 3rd string to the 4th fret, 3rd string. And then we're going to hit our open J. So let's just kind of play along with Tony from where we are, nice and very slowly. Very, very slowly. Okay. So honestly, some of this stuff, Tony loves using this open G, this dominant 7, and this open D. He uses this sort of stuff to get back and forth from this position, to slide up, to slide back down, to get down using those open strings. And what I've noticed when I show people this stuff, some of those little moves are the most confusing parts for their ear, because it's not a melodic phrase that they can carry with them. It's almost like filler. Of course, I would never call anything Tony does filler, but in effect it is. It's him catching his time, hearing himself doing his phrasing, and he's still picking some of these notes. So people find that similar to when I repeated that C to B flat earlier, and I kind of forgot about it because that was kind of filler. It's extra notes. It's just his way of being in the time that he's feeling. So when we go, so do you see how that could be confusing? That's a lot of D's, a lot of G's. It's just kind of, we're going to have to practice it a few times and loop it for you to feel that and play it. Let's just start with that. We're going to tag that little flat 3 to 3 lick with the dominant 7. There's our dominant 7, our F natural, our 4th string, 3rd fret. Up on the F, down on the G. Just feel that for a minute on its own before we add the extra stuff. I'm not going to count it actually, I'm just going to play it. That's a lick and a little phrase in and of itself. Sing it to yourself. Do, 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 with me if you can, okay? Do 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 do. Okay, so once you've internalized that phrase, then add on this little extra. Here's a little tag to that. It's probably easier to hear it as a little tag, kind of a little tail to that lick, rather than trying to just learn the whole thing at once. We have this as an entity. Okay? We're going to go straight into the next part eventually, but I want you to hear this. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-da-da-da. Sorry. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Let's confirm with Tony that we've got the right phrasing and the right notes. Did you hear it? So when we go, we did this as its own entity. Okay. Here's our little tail to that. Okay. That's harder to hear. Up on the D, open D, 4th string. Hammer down on that F natural, the 4th string, 3rd fret, and we'll do a ghost down as we do that. D, F, hammer, up on the D, open G, open D, open G. Up, goes down, up, down, up, down. And this is a way of teaching solos that's more about ear training. I love not tapping it out for my students. I love having them learn it this way. People internalize it more quickly, and it becomes part of their energy and their soul much more quickly than if they're staring at a piece of paper with bar lines and kind of intellectualizing it. This way, we're trying to sing the phrases, we're trying to hear it, and it ends up sticking with us longer. We don't feel like there's this third party that contains the information, because it's really, the energy of the music is in here, and we're just bringing it to the guitar. There doesn't need to be that extra. I understand if people need tab, I do. But this is a way that I want you to kind of work towards for yourself if you don't already do it, is trying to learn more from other people and learn by ear. And it jams. If you hear something cool, say, hey, what was that? Try to get them to show you in person, and not always be doing tabs and music notation. And it's so fun. It's so fun to see the patterns and how everything interconnects. I just love it. That's that little lick there. So from the top, nice, and I'm going to slow it down even more with Tony. 3, 4, 1. So what is that? Moving on. What are we doing here? Kind of wish you guys were here with me so you could take some stabs of what that is. You know what I'm going to say. I want you to tell me if there's some sort of shape or pattern you recognize. Or does your ear hear anything? Because notice anything happening underneath? The chord's changing. So Tony's leading us there, and we're going to do that shell of the 5 chord. So now I get to go into my spiel about the 5 chord triad here. 3rd finger F sharp, 1st finger A, 2nd finger D. So that's, it's the 3rd finger is, I'm just showing you the triad right now. The third finger is on the 4th fret, 4th string, and the first finger is on A, the 2nd fret, 3rd string, and the second finger is on D, the 3rd fret, 2nd string. So this is the shape that we're envisioning as we move to the 5 chord and we move to the next lick. And we've done this before in other Tony solos. We've done what I call a shell of this triad sound here. This is the first inversion of the triad. The root position is 1, 3, 5, and then we stick this 1 on the top, and now we have 3 on the bottom. So we've done, and we've inverted it. This is our first inversion. F sharp A D, first inversion. 3, 5, 1. Okay, so this is important to me. When you are going through and learning these solos, you're seeing the shapes that the licks are associated with, so that you can not just be playing random notes to you. They're not notes in a vacuum. They are, oh, okay, this is, I'm outlining a 5 chord. I'm outlining the 3rd. There I am. I'm outlining the 3rd of it to the 1. Why does he slide on down to the shell of this C chord here? Because it's a dominant sound. He's taking us to the flat 7 of the 5 chord. That's where his ear is taking us. The 9 and the 7. So it's almost like he wants us to hear this sound. On the 5 chord, we have that C natural, that dominant 7 of the 5 chord. That makes sense? So let's walk through that. What our fingers actually going to do, note by note. Though these shapes are probably more important even than learning Tony's solo note for note, because this is something you can reuse on your own. It doesn't matter if it's perfectly in Tony's phrasing or not. When you hit a 5 chord, you know that you can hit this shape and do anything that'll sound good. For a 5 chord, you can just cross pick through it. Okay, so I'm gonna let you hear me play it with Tony for a sec. So did you hear it? So he does a quick little down on that open D, up, and then he hits with the downstroke that F sharp, the F natural, the flat 3 of the 5 chord, which is the 3rd fret, 4th string. Slides on up and does a ghost up when he hits that F sharp. Down, up, and then we hit an up with the D up here on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. So we're going to go up on the 3rd fret, 4th string, slide up 1 fret and do a ghost upstroke with our right hand, and then with an up, there's a little ghost before we get to grab that high D there. See, there's a ghost down because we're going to do an up on this D. We're going to do an up on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. Down, ghost, up. Sorry, I can't say it fast enough. Down, and then up, ghost, and then an up on the F sharp again, the 4th fret, 4th string, and then a down on the D, 3rd fret, 2nd string. So I hit these 2 notes twice, and in between I did, like I said, a ghost stroke, and that's going to be that ghost stroke is going to be crucial for us to play this along with Tony. Ghost. Let's do that again. Slowly. Down, ghost up. Sorry. Ghost. Between the 2 of them. Ghost. Even slower so I can say it. Down, up, down. I really can't say it along with it, I'm sorry. Ghost, down, then up. Ghost, up, ghost, up, down. Ghost, ghost. So just keep your right hand moving and play along with me. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so after this, we're going to slide using our second finger from the 4th fret, 4th string, down to the 2nd fret, 4th string. With an up stroke. Slide and it goes down, and then an up on the C natural, 1st fret, 2nd string. Ghost, slide with an up, ghost down to the 2nd fret, and then up on the C natural, the 1st fret, 2nd string. So, anybody have questions about that? Okay, I hope you guys are comfortable with this pace. I'm glad you are tuning in, and I know this solo is one of the hardest for people to hear the phrasing. So if I'm plugging along too fast, please let me know. Okay, so next we're gonna go to this phrase. So this one is actually really easy to hear once you slow it way down, and once I kind of pointed out what's going on. When I first heard this at full speed, I had no idea what was going on, and I feel so lucky that these slow down applications have become more popular and usable, because I used to sit there at full speed and just rewind a million times. It's so much easier now. So what's going on there? It's really simple, actually. He's doing an up on the 1, hitting the 2, and then sliding from the flat 3 to 3. It makes sense, doesn't it? So, up on the G, down on the A, 2nd fret, 3rd string, up on the B flat, and then a slide with a ghost down to the B natural, 4th fret, 3rd string. Nice and easy to hear. Up, down, up, ghost down. And then we're going to hit a 4, a C, a 5th fret, 3rd string. And then we're going to do 2 ghosts while we wait for the next beat. Actually, that's not 2 ghosts, I'm sorry. Ghost down, and then an up on the open G. Okay, so this little lick here, let me play it with Tony. Okay, that is a lick. Let's play it slowly, let's sing it. What's he doing? He's doing what we talked about before. He's playing the flat 3 to 3 of the 1 chord, and then he hits the 4 of it, and then that gives us a suspended feeling, a hanging feeling. Goes back to the 1, and then back to the flat 3 to 3, and the 1, 7, 5. Okay. Up on the G, down on the A, up on the B flat, slide with a ghost down on the right hand to the B natural, 4th fret, 3rd string, and then we have our up on that C, 5th fret, 3rd string, up on the open G, 3rd string, and then we have our down on the flat 3 to 3, slide, 3rd fret, 3rd string, 1st finger, slide with a down, and do a ghost up as we slide. And then a nice down on that 1, open G, 3rd string, and then we'll hit the flat 7, the F natural, and that is the 4th string, 3rd fret, and pull off to the D, the open D, the 5. Now that phrase is hard for people to hear, but once you feel it and get what it is, and also he's playing kind of quietly at the beginning of it, so you kind of really don't know what's going on until you slow it way down. You hear it? Cool, right? Okay, next, unless there's any questions. Recognize this? There's our little shell again, right? It's a shell of the 3 to the high 1 of the 1 chord, of the G chord. It is, if you're picturing the triad of G, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Let's take the G on top, and we have 3, 5, 1. So we're going to do that little shell again. And this was in, I think, at least 2 of our solos we've done so far. This little shell. He does it on the 5 chord and here. Okay, that's a usable thing. So let's learn it. We have an up on the open G, 3rd string, and then once again our slide from the flat to flat 3 to the major 3, and we're going to do a down. I'm going to use my 2nd finger because I need to save my 1st fingers for when I hit the 3rd fret, 1st string. Up, down on the B flat, ghost up as I slide to the 4th fret, and then a down on that high G, 3rd fret, 1st string. Ba da da da. Let's combine it with the previous lick. Ba da ba da 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 ba da da da. Okay, you ready for the next bit? You're going to recognize this as well. I think it was possibly in Teardrops in My Eyes, I think. This is just outlining that minor pentatonic. So that's where his brain is. So we're going to go 1, a down on the G, 1st string, 3rd fret, up on the 6th fret, which is our F, 2nd string, 6th fret, 2nd string, upstroke. So down, down G, up, 6th fret, 2nd string, down on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and then we are, and that was the D. So 1, flat 7, 5, and then we're going to do a nice big bend with our, kind of using all of our fingers for power on the 6th fret, 1st string. And that gets an upstroke. So that's going to go through some ghost strokes. Down, up, down, up, down. It's hard for me to do slow-mo like this. There's beats going by. I love that. You can hear the bass pumping along as he's doing that. Trying to count it for you. Okay. 1 and 2 and 3. I thought it was on the end of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Yeah. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So that slide, that bend begins on the end of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So I think that's right. So everybody got their bend. Ah. So next we'll go. Again, we'll hit the 1 flat 7 5 G 3rd string, 3rd fret 1st string, up on the F 6th fret 2nd string, and then the 2nd string 3rd fret. Let's walk on down that little lick. What is that? I feel like we did this exact same thing in Teardrops in My Eyes. We're walking down 1 flat 7 5 flat 5 4 flat 3 1, which equals minor pentatonic with the flat 5, which some people call the blues scale. G, like I said, G, we've got our 1st string, 3rd fret, up on the 6th fret, 2nd string, down on the D, 3rd fret, 2nd string, up on the 6th, this is a D flat, 6th fret, 3rd string, and then we've got our 4 note, which is the C, which is the 5th fret, 3rd string, and then our B flat, which is 1st finger on the 3rd fret, 3rd string, and then our nice 1 there on that G, the 5th fret, 4th string. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Good. So that's our next little bit. And I better pick up the pace here if I'm going to keep this an hour. I wanted to walk very slowly through this with you guys because this one is harder to hear than some of the other ones. So after this little blues scale, okay, we're going to do an up. The next little lick is. So that's just your typical, we've done this before, we do a down on the C, the 5th fret, 3rd string, and then because we're barring with our left hand on the 5th fret with our 3rd finger, and up on the G, the closed G, the 5th fret, 4th string. C, 5th fret, 3rd string, and back to the G. And then our, once again, flat 3 to 3 with an up, our B flat, 3rd string, 3rd fret, and then a slide up to the B natural, 4th fret, 3rd string. And then an up on our 1, our G, 3rd string. There we are again with our F natural, our 7 to the 5 to the D, and back to the 1. So there's a lot of that in this solo. Let's do that whole thing nice and slow. Bar with a 3rd finger, back, bar, down to that closed G. Again, top of the blues scale here. Bar with your 3rd finger, closed G. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, ghost slide, ghost down as we slide. Ghost, down, and then up on the G, down, up, down. So this next little bit kind of confuses people. He hits that F sharp. Why? I have wondered that for years. Isn't that interesting? I mean, he's just played an obvious dominant 7 blues lick. And then he's going to stick in that F sharp. Why? It's just what keeps us running back to listen to Tony. It's so unpredictable. It's strange in a beautiful, weird, mysterious way. Why is he playing an F sharp there? So weird. Awesomely weird. So fun. Down on the G, up on the F sharp, 4th fret, 4th string, 2nd finger, and then hit the 5 with your downstroke in your right hand on the 4th string. I love it. I just love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's so fun and cool. Okay, so now I'm just going to repeat one of his kind of personal idioms that he uses quite often. This thing again. So that's a freebie because we did it earlier. Remember, we slid up from the C to the D. So with your 3rd finger, you're going to go ahead and slide from the C on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Upstroke goes down as you slide. Up 2 fret to the D, 5th fret, 5th string. Up, ghost, up on the F natural, 4th string, 3rd fret, and then there's going to be a little hangout ghost as you're waiting for the next note. Up, slide with a ghost down, up, ghost down, up on the open D. Up. Okay, so now we're headed back to the flat 3 to 3 again, but I just want to play along with Tony. Make sure I'm... I think he sneakily sticks in another one of those F sharps there. It's really quiet. So this lick here, there's a very nebulous possible F sharp, possible dominant 7, the F natural. But this is just going to repeat that same thing we've been doing quite a bit in this solo. This goes down, up on the D, flat 3 to 3 natural, B flat to B, with a down and a slide, and it goes up as we slide. Down on the 3rd fret, 3rd string, goes up as we slide up half a step, and then an open G. And then we're going to do an up on the F natural, the 7, and then a down on the 5, the open D string. Slow-mo. Up, ghost, up, sorry. Up, ghost, up, down, slide, down, up, down on the D. Okay, next is a little syncopated filler before he heads up to those high licks. So he's going to hit that open G right away with an upstroke. Do it ghost down while he waits to hit his next thing. Up, ghost, up, or F. I'm going to listen to that again, you guys. Yeah, it's an F sharp. I think I've been playing an F natural all these years, but this is why I like doing this with you guys. I get to focus on it. For an hour a week, I just sit here and focus on Tony Rice, and I love it. Thank you for allowing me to do this. I would do this if there were 0 viewers. I'm serious. It's super fun for me. So thank you for being here. So there is another F sharp plopped in there. Again. So, down goes down. And then here's our syncopated thing. Up on G, goes down, up on the F sharp, 4th fret, 4th string, then down on the D. Okay? Now we're headed up the neck for that territory of the higher licks. So let me check to see if there's any questions on all that stuff. And I will comment that the, thank you, Kenny. Thank you for being here, seriously. I will comment that I just think it's amazing that someone could fill, you know, a 1 chord, a G chord for so long and keep it so cool and interesting. You know, I just love that about Tony Rice. And okay, so there we are. We're going to have that open D ringing as we reach up to these next licks. That's our next one. Who recognizes that from Teardrops in My Eyes and Thinking About You? It is a 5 lick. It's based on this 5 triad, which I outlined in the previous 2 as well, but if you weren't here, this is where we find that lick. It's between the 5th and 7th frets, and we're looking at our root position 5 triad. We have our 3rd finger on the 3rd string, 7th fret. There's our D. Pinky's right underneath 2nd string, 7th fret. F sharp, that's our 3rd of the 5 chord. And then we have the 1st finger on the 5th fret, 1st string on that A up there. That's the 5th of the 5 chord. So 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D. So study this shape in your head. I'm only using 3 fingers. That's why it's a triad, because it's just the 1, 3, and the 5. You can call it a chord as well if you'd like. But these shapes are what most people are seeing and playing around with when they're playing licks. And it's because, you know, they're applicable up and down the neck, anywhere you want to do it. If you learn a lick in D, it's based around the shape here. Go 2 frets, it's in E. You go down 2, it's in C. Like last week, we hung around here the whole time because we were in C position for New River Train. So now we're playing the 5 chord, the D chord, in the key of G. So now his mind is kind of hopping up here. And now what's funny about it is he's going to hit, that's the lick. It starts on an open E, which is really the 9, it's the 2, the 9 of the D chord. And then he's going to play a B, the 7th fret, 1st string, with an upstroke. And then down on that A, finally we get a chord tone, that 5th of the 5 chord. And then, why is he playing an F natural instead of an F sharp? It's the bluesy minor 3rd. I've noticed this about Tony. He often plays the minor 3rd of the 5 chord. That bluesy, it's just cooler to his ear, so he does it. And just get used to it because it's in a lot of his solos, and my ear's gotten used to it. I used to be a little confused, I'll be honest. It's like, why? It's a 5 chord? He's playing the minor 3rd. He's just thinking blues. He's thinking blues for that. And then also, I told y'all this before, but I have like a mini theory of why. Because after we do what I just said, that up on the F natural, we're going to hit the E again, open E, to the 9. 9, 6, 5, flat 3, 9. That's his 5 lick. Crazy cool, crazy creative, mysteriously fun and wonderful. I kind of think that kind of derived from that some of these C licks people do. I think he just popped it on up here 2 frets and was like, huh, that's cool. And it does. That's my little personal theory. Don't know. I can't ask him, unfortunately. He's not with us anymore. That's why I think he did that. I think he was playing around one day, saw that, heard it, felt that it was cool, and then it kind of made its way into a lot of his solos. And what it does is a little bridge up to this next high stuff. Because the next stuff is going to be way up here in this position. So, that's the next bit we're going to talk about. I'm sorry I'm going a little bit over an hour here, but really wanted to take my time with this one, to not just be kind of going note by note. I wanted to go phrase by phrase where you're hearing each lick and can use each lick separately if you'd like. Oh, one of those funny little glitches in my... Put on fresh strings for you guys, because I had very dead strings from a 4-hour gospel gig I did this weekend, pounding it out. It's fun. that's going to be our next little bit here. Let's just stop there. Okay, what is that? We're going to start with an upstroke way up on the 10th fret, but first let's analyze what it is, so we're not just playing random notes. Okay, so what I see in here just kind of ignore this B for a second, and what you're seeing is a minor pentatonic starting on the 5. So kind of like a D minor pentatonic with the blue note. 1, 7, 6 natural, 5, flat 5, 4, flat 3, 1 of the 5 chord. That makes sense? No worries if you aren't hearing or seeing it that way, but we are. He's doing this over the 5 chord, so why wouldn't he be thinking D blues scale? He is. He's thinking D blues scale with a major 6 in there. 1, flat 7, major 6, 5, flat 5, 4, flat 3, 1. Okay, if that doesn't make sense to your ear, no worries. You can still play the lick and have fun with it. Let's just learn that real quick. Up on the 10th fret, 1st string. Down on the 8th fret with your 2nd finger. 8th fret, 1st string. Up on that 6th there, that B natural, that 7th fret, 1st string. And now we're heading down to the 2nd string. Down on that A, pinky goes to 10th fret, 2nd string. Upstroke on that flat 5, that 9th fret, 2nd string. And then we have our 8th fret, 2nd string. Up, down, up, down, up, down. All right, so next we've got 3rd string. Upstroke on the 10th fret, 3rd string. And a down on the D, the 5th fret, 3rd string. Okay, next up, so this lick is kind of hard to see in here, and it's tricky to play, especially at his crazy speed, right? So we're gonna go. Do, 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 do. So sing that with me. Do, 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 do. Okay. This is C. Pinky is barring on the 10th fret. If you can see this. 10th fret. Okay, so I'm going to do an upstroke there on that C, my 4th string, 10th fret, down on the 4th string, excuse me, the 3rd string, 10th fret, da, da, da. So up, down, up. Okay, all of that was on the 10th fret. It was up on the 4th string, 10th fret, down on the 10th fret, 3rd string, up on the 4th string, 10th fret, and then we're going to move on up to that. Then we reach up to that 2nd string, that tonic of the scale, the G. That's the 2nd finger on the 2nd string, 8th fret. And then our pinky hits that 3rd string, 10th fret again. And you can get out of your bar there if you'd like. You don't need it anymore. So your pinky can just hit that individual note there. Okay? Boo, doo, 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 doo. And then we're going to move into this. To me, my ear kind of sees and feels and hears this. I hear a sus of the 1 chord, of the G chord. Okay, so make a D chord on the 7th and 8th frets, and then add your pinky, and you'll see what I'm talking about, because we're going to outline that. With our 2nd finger on the 8th fret, we're going to do a down on the 1st string, 8th fret, pull off, and do an up, a ghost up as we pull off, and then a down on the G, 2nd string, 8th fret, and then an up on that 3rd string, 7th fret. Do that with me. Do, 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 do. Hope I'm close enough here. And then we're going to slide into our flat 3 to 3 way up here. Okay, that's a down with our 3rd finger on the B flat of the G chord. And that's going to be 8th fret, 4th string with a down, and then slide on up half step to our 9th fret. And then a down on the open G. So that's really useful there. Okay? Kenny swallowed my gum on that last one. Okay, so questions. This is a tricky lick to play and to hear, but once you get it, you'll realize he does it in so many different solos, and so you can keep using it. Okay, I might have to tab that or notate it out for you guys at some point. The only problem is this is fun for me, just talking through the solos and hearing them. Whereas notating and tabbing and all that stuff sounds like work to me. Sorry, it just does. So, if you're cool with that, I'm going to move on, especially since I'm over time here. Down on the open G, 3rd string. And then we're going to use that open G as a way to get down to the 3rd fret, 1st position. And now with our 3rd finger, we're going to hit the dominant 7. With an upstroke, we're going to hit that F natural, that 4th string, 3rd fret, and then an open G, 3rd string. Okay, it goes by really quickly, but you hear him leading our ear to the chorus chords, which is the chorus starts on the 4 chord, right? So he's going to pull off from the flat 3 to 2 of the 4 chord. E flat, 1st fret, 4th string, with an up and a goes down as we pull, and then a down on the C, because he's going to blast right into that 4 chord rhythm to support the next soloist. So let's see if that lasts like yeah, do you see how you could barely hear him because the dobro solo is coming in there? He's just kind of trailing on into that 4 chord. So it's really hard to hear, but that's what's going on there. I'll play it again with him to show you. Here's the highlight. Up goes up, down. that's the solo. Really slow, really deliberate. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching. Like I said, I'd be doing this if there were 0 viewers. I just like to schedule myself some time talking about Mr. TR, the great Mr. Rice. See if I can play it a little faster for y'all to cap things off here.
Oh, how the girls can know.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense when you go faster. Just kind of to our ear. When it's slow, it's a lot of that, like I talked about, that droning and the flat 3 to 3.
Oh, how the girls can know.
And you know what I've noticed about that last lick? I have a hard time playing it a lot of times in a row. It's not one of those licks you can just kind of loop and get good at it. It's like, the more I do it, the worse I get. So, if you find that with yourself, just take a break, shake your hand out, do some arm swings or whatever. It's a very physical lick. A lot of closed notes right there on the neck. Let me know if you have any questions. I will be here next week. I will be here not Wednesday next week. I'm busy on April 12th doing a mother-son dinner that's scheduled, but we'll be here on that Thursday, April 13th. And what I would like to do is possibly do a Norman Blake solo next week. What do y'all think? I love this from the Blake and Rice albums. I love I'm Coming Back, but I don't know when. And there's a great kickoff that Norman does. It's not really totally melody. It's just cool. It's using a lot of the stuff that we looked at last week in that C position there. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking for next week. So listen to that, and I'll post an event and invite y'all, and I hope to see you here again. Thanks so much. By the way, I've been posting all these on YouTube. I haven't caught up with the past one, just so you have an easier way to find them when if you're going to sit down and go through phrase by phrase. However, as I've mentioned earlier today in my post, just listening and hearing me chat about chord tones and getting some of these scale patterns in your head is useful and productive. So if you just want to listen, put in your AirPods and do the dishes and listen to these licks and listen to the discussion of theory. I think it goes a long way. So you don't have to sit there with your guitar if you aren't able to. Thanks again, guys. Sorry I went over. Have a great night, and I look forward to seeing y'all next Thursday. Bye.